Good morning, everybody. Shift Your Mindset here with a new episode of the Norway trial, day 5. Let's get the record straight about the truth. It was one of the most intense but also triumphant days. In this case, why? Because the state witnesses began their testimonies today. Around 25 former Jehovah's Witnesses filled the courtroom today. I don't know if there was any Jehovah's Witness left. I don't think they want to sit down in the courtroom with all the Exjws. And they all testified, and it were all women except for one man, Rolf Furulu, and they had all amazing testimonies. They were so good that the lawyer of the Jehovah's Witnesses and the spokesman Jürgen Peterson of the Jehovah's Witnesses were pretty upset at the end of the day. And before we go to the Exjw testimonies, to highlight some things, first was about Mr. Saterhawk. He's a board member of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yesterday he was questioned by the Jehovah's Witness lawyer. Today, on day 5, he was cross-examined by the state about the practices of the Jehovah's Witnesses according to Shunning, how they adjusted the terminology for exclusion. So, initially, members who broke with the organization were said to be expelled, later changed to excluded, and now removed from the congregation. But all terms are describing the same actions. So according to his testimony, disfellowshipped individuals, and of course particularly apostates, who actively oppose or try to persuade others from the faith, lose both spiritual and social fellowship with the congregation. And again, they focus on people who are opposing the JW religion, because that's the theocratic warfare they do to put the spotlight on that, so they have a valid thing to disfellow or to shun other people. But the state asks, regarding contact with persons who have been removed from the congregation, how does this adjustment entail? Now we can do also more to reach out a helping hand. For example, a mother and a father might call and say, we have been thinking about you. But notice his next sentence. You are welcome at the meeting. That's the secret word they have to use. If you have contact with your son, daughter, whatever, family member, always the secret word is to give you a good conscience, is that you have to persuade them to come back to the meeting. Then your contact is valid. But always refer to you are welcome at the meeting. But what about apostates? Will someone fall into the fallen away category if they join another religious community? No, not necessarily. That's an apostate. An apostate is someone who joins another religious community, right? No, not necessarily. A fallen person is someone who continually tries to persuade others. That board member of the Jehovah's Witnesses said. And now That's why it's so good to have Exjws on the stand, because he said contact may continue within family households as personal relationships are ultimately a matter of conscience, individual conscience. Here we have it again, a board member of the Jehovah's Witnesses who is bold-faced lying in court. Personal relationships are a matter of individual conscience. And he also says that there's a difference between an inactive member and someone who consciously withdraws from the faith. In practice, those who withdraw are treated the same way as those who have been formally disfellowshipped. Then the state brought up the removed disfellowshipping video. When was this video removed from jw.org? I dare not say. Spokesman of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I dare not say, but it was about a year ago. Do you know why it is removed? He answered, no, I don't know. And that is an honest answer, because the governing body deletes videos and never say to anybody why they are removing that video. But we know why they removed that video. Because of this trial. What do you think is the message of this video? Well, it depicts a difficult situation for a family, and we see how that family choose to handle it. Guys, do you see how they are manipulating everything? We see how that family chooses to handle it. No, that video and that family is the standard for all the JWs in the religion, how they have to handle that situation. Not only that family, how everybody has to handle that situation. We see an adult daughter who does exactly what she wants, and she is free to do so. No, she's not free to do so because she's excluded. There's no social contact. The mother doesn't pick up the phone if she's calling. She's not free to do so, Mr. Slaughterhawk. Yes, but at a cost? Yes. And then they ask them, but are parents urged to cut off contact with excluded persons who move away? We do not urge anyone to cut off all contact. This was merely an example of how one family handled it. In that case, the mother chose not to respond to her daughter. But this is not a rule that all Jehovah's Witnesses must follow. People, I'm getting silent from this, because if this is true what he is saying, then every ex-JW on earth would have a phone call from his mom or dad or uncle or aunt or niece or nephew. But we don't get any phone calls. There is no contact. We are not invited for family dinner. There is no social contact. No one called me the last 4 years. No one. Not my father, not my sister, but also no one in the congregation I was in. No one in the congregation I grew up in. Nobody. And here it said it's not a rule that all Jehovah's Witnesses must follow. How dare you take the stand and lie your teeth out? How dare you? And remember, judgment is coming. If God is gonna judge you, you're not gonna make it, my man, for sure. But I said there was good news, and there is. Because There were a lot of testimonies, and we're gonna highlight some quotes from it. Jehovah's Witnesses are expected to believe what is written in the Watchtower, even if they don't understand it. True, because we can read it in the Watchtower. If the governing body has a direction and you don't get it, just follow. A little while ago, Jurgen Peterson, the spokesman of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and also that Sorterhawk, that board member we just summarized, said that it was up to each individual's conscience. That is an outright lie, an Exjw testified. If Jehovah's Witnesses had practiced what they are saying and they are describing, that person would have been excluded. And that's the truth. The state asked another former witness, "What did you know about exclusion before you were baptized?" "I knew about it, and I was told that I should turn away and not say hello." "Do you have any experience with this?" they asked. Very good question. Yes, I remember my mom saying that an excluded person in our church was taken by Satan. We know that, guys. We all know that. I was also instructed that person you can't say hello to. You have to move away, you have to run away. Don't say hello to that. That person is lost. Not taken by Satan, but lost, said my parents. Negative social control is about pressuring, another former witness said, or even threatening someone in ways that prevent them from making their own choices. We see it in different forms, sometimes subtle, like going along with an expectation just because everybody else does it, and sometimes severe, while child's development is completely stifled. And all those testimonies were former witnesses who set the record straight, how it went, how they were excluded, how they were treated, how everyone treats you as if you even don't exist. And that is the truth, my people. That is the truth. There is no individual conscience. A video isn't about a family and the way they handle it. It's an example for you, for me, for everybody at that convention, how you should do it. They set the bar with that video, how they expect you to handle those situations. Otherwise, it would be said in the subtitles or whatever that this is a personal opinion. Never is that the case. So my thoughts of this day is the witnesses were in the last day, the witnesses were on the stand, and it was all about maintaining the spiritual purity of the congregation. It was God's loving arrangement, blah, blah, blah. But the testimonies that you heard today was from a former elder, almost 60 years he was an elder. Governing body insiders, from ex-members, and they tell a completely 180 different story. We've been waiting, I have been waiting for this day, for day 5. Why? Because after hearing those active JWs who are bold-faced lying about personal choices, personal conscience, we don't shun, we keep in touch with family things, whatever. we never have rules about this or that. It was time that the public hear that the truth needed to come out. And the truth came out with these testimonies. Because these testimonies of today expose disfellowshipping for what it truly is. It is a weapon of mass destruction, a weapon used by the Jehovah's Witnesses to isolate you and me, to punish you and me, and to force people into submission. That you are that desperate that you fall in a deep dark hole and you think you're not able to get out of it, so then you return. That's their goal, that's their game plan. It's breaking down people emotionally as far as they can, so that you have no choice but come crawling back into that congregation hall. And the organization deliberately cuts off every form of support, friends, family, maybe even employment opportunities, so that the disfellowship person has nowhere to go. And also the official Jehovah's Witness literature is crystal clear about that. Keep yourself in God's love. We do not have any spiritual or social fellowship with excluded persons. So it's a social exile. Shepherd of the Flock, the secret elders manual, says apart from unavoidable contact, such as work, something very special in the family, such as writing a will, total isolation is required. Chapter 12 of the Secret Elders Manual. That's the truth, people. And not these lame-ass testimonies from brainwashed Jehovah's Witnesses who think they can lie on the stand and get away with it. So, Jehovah's Witnesses continue to mislead the public. But today, even today on the 5th day, that board members said that disfellowshipping is a personal choice and that members can decide whether or not to associate with an expelled person. But the former Jehovah's Witnesses, the Exjws, set the record straight, and he said that it is a lie. And if we practice what they claim we can practice, that person would have been excluded. If I was doing that, what they were saying on the stand, try it in your congregation, Jehovah's Witnesses. Try it. Say to the elders, it's a personal choice. I heard it on the Norway trial. Try it. Prove me wrong. Try it. You know it now, Jehovah's Witnesses who are watching. Try this the next week in your congregation. Associate with an disfellowship person. Say it to the elders and you say to them, it's my personal choice. You don't have anything to say about it because it's a personal conscience matter. Try it. Try if you still maintain your microphone duty, if you can give a public talk. Try if you can stay a ministerial servant or an elder. Try it. Prove me wrong. Who dares? I dare you. Who will take up the challenge? Who's listening, who's watching, to do like they say in the congregation. Just to have social contact, drink a beer with the disfellowship person, go out with him, take him to the movies, call him every day, hey, how are you doing, and not use the secret word meeting in it, so that's justified that you called. Try it. So what does it tell us what happened today? If you are in the organization, you are inside the organization, you're there not out of faith, but out of fear of losing everything. If you are disfellowshipped, you are cut off, you're erased, you're left with nothing. No friends, no family, nothing. And thanks to all the brave Exjws who took the stand today and set the record straight. I salute you for your bravery and for everything you do for all the people around the world who are the victim of disfellowshipping. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you question the leadership, you get silenced. That former elder, almost 60 years, Rolf, he questioned the governing body. He's still in the faith, he still believes, but he was disfellowshipped because he was criticizing, in their opinion, the governing body. So he was disfellowshipped. And we see that it's all about power. Because if it was a loving arrangement from God, people wouldn't be forced back through fear or losing their families. If it was a loving discipline, a loving arrangement, then you would be disfellowshipped and you could have family contact, business as usual. You're only not part of the Jehovah's Witnesses, but you can drink a beer, you can visit your father, your mother, you can do whatever you want, and the contact remains the same. Then it is a loving arrangement, but it isn't, because it's a loving arrangement. No, it's not a loving arrangement, because people wouldn't be forced back through fear or losing families. And if Jehovah's Witnesses allow personal conscience in matters of association, members wouldn't risk being disfellowshipped themselves for refusing to shun their loved ones. I know someone who is disfellowshipped because he refused to shun a certain person. He is disfellowshipped himself. So if it's a personal conscience, if it's a personal matter, if it's a personal choice, why do you have rules in the Shepherd of the Flock book about people who associate with shunned people? You strip them from every privilege they have. And then maybe if they keep on doing that, they are being disfellowshipped themselves. So tell me, can someone explain it to me who's a Jehovah's Witness? Simple reasoning. And if the governing body believed that their policies were fair, square, and moral, why would they hide videos? Why are they rewriting history? And why are they trying to mislead a Norwegian court? Simple question. Tell me why. So, bottom line is, and that's the end game of day 5, Jehovah's Witnesses do not have a choice when it comes to disfellowshipping and shun people. There are strict policies and rules in place not to eat with the person, not to say hello to the person, blah, 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 blah. They soften the rules a little bit that you can have a little conversation. Hey, how are you doing? I want to invite you to the meeting, but that's the only change there is. Because in real life, where other people live, Jehovah's Witnesses, not in that bubble, but in real life, nothing is changed. We're still getting shunned by everybody in the faith of the Jehovah's Witnesses. We all are erased. And those who stay have always that threat of expulsion. You're never safe. So it's a coercion. It's nothing, it has nothing to do with a faith. And it's 100% psychological warfare. And it's a fear-based, how do you say it? Fear-based system, fear-based corporation. But it's not a religion at all. But it disguises it as a religion. It disguises themselves as a religion, but it's a fear-based corporation, corporate business system, whatever. So this was day 5. I believed on the 10th of February they will continue with former witnesses testifying. I'm happy in the end. Why? Because today, for the first time, we could set the record straight that it isn't a conscience matter. It isn't a personal choice. It isn't about the video that is deleted, that it was a family who did it their way. No, it was they were setting the bar in that video for everybody on earth who's a Jehovah's Witness. And now we got a lot of ex-JW members, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, who were brave enough to testify against the religion who just ruined their life, where they still have to pick up the pieces, still deal with a lot of trauma to keep their head above water. And we all have our challenges. We all have our things. We all sometimes think like we used to do as Jehovah's Witnesses. We all have a backpack full of Jehovah's Witnesses, heavy stones who we carry sometimes. And those people who were brave enough today to take a stand and to say to the court how their life has been affected by this religion, that are brave people that pave the way, hopefully, for more governments to see through the lying testimonies of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So, I'm gonna crack open a beer today to celebrate this day, celebrate all those brave people, and I hope, guys, I hope that this court hearing will wake up a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, because they have been fooled, and I am sorry for them. I sincerely are. I'm sorry for them that board members, spokesperson for the Jehovah's Witnesses are bold-faced lying just for a little few bucks, for a little piece of the pie, for a funding you don't need, just for some money. They are throwing everything and everybody in the organization under the bus. So I'm happy. I hope you guys are happy. Let me know what you think of this video, of this day in court. And I'm extremely proud of all the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who were there today, who did everything they could to set the record straight. And they are not rehearsed, they are not lying in court. They just say how it is, and how beautiful is that. So thank you for watching. See each other on the next episode.